without further ado, let's see what the 150-game superstar has to say for himself. James Slipper, how you doing, brother?
Yeah, good guys.
Hell yeah, man. I'm loving that little goatee action you got going on there, man. Was that a special thing for the 150th game on the weekend just gone?
Mate, it's been growing for a while, but it's probably nearly time to get going, I think, mate. It's making me look pretty old.
No way. No, one of my questions I wanted to ask, we're all going to ask you a few questions about your career, which is absolutely huge. 150 games in the book in Super Rugby. Oh, mine was going to be, when are you going to bring back the prison pussy, the goatee? I saw last year, man. Last year, you were packing down a scrum time with a mullet and a goatee, and I was like, oh, mate, I am G'd up right now. When are you going to bring it back?
Mate, I don't think the mullet's coming back. There was a point last year that I looked around, half the team had one, and thought it was time to grow up myself. I saw young Belly's rolling one now, so I think I've given it to him, and he can have it, mate.
Slips, Dossie here, mate. You were always a trendsetter. So it's just the young boys following a good lead. But no, Schming, it's good to see you. 150 games, mate. You're an absolute legend of the game. One of the best blokes going around. I'll still remember your debut, Reds vs Tars. Unfortunately, got pipped at the post, and you didn't play the next game. And we were all joking that was the end of your Reds career. You happily proved us all wrong, and you went on and. What an illustrious career it's been. Slips, what would your most proudest moment, I guess, in those 150 Super Rugby games be?
Mate, just on the debut, that's pretty much Quade's fault for me getting dropped. He missed Cliffy Parlew there and lost us the game, so I'm pretty sure I was the one who copped it for that. Mate, I guess over 150 games, there's a fair few games that stick out. Obviously, 2011 with the Reds was pretty special. I guess winning a premiership back when Super Rugby was Super Rugby, and it was just a fantastic year. And Dossie and Murph were there as well, so that's always going to stick out for me. But to be honest, I've really enjoyed the last kind of 4 years down in Canberra. It's just been a refreshing start for me, and I've really enjoyed my time, and just trying to keep running around after these young blokes is keeping me on my toes. So I'm enjoying myself.
Awesome. Slips, obviously you found some success up here with Queensland. You moved down to the Brums. What is it that's in the water down there that's made you guys so successful? What's the big difference that you think the Brumbies brings that a lot of other Super Rugby clubs don't have?
It's a good question, and I think it's the Brumbies have been, it's proven that a lot of players go there and do get better. I do reckon Canberra itself is a big reason for their success as a club. It's well known. Like, there's not much to do in Canberra, is there? So, you spend most of your days off in at the club, either doing extras or recovery, and there's a good chunk of the boys that are actually from interstate. So, for a lot of us, we don't have friends and family outside the club. So on days off, Dossie would admit this, you get around each other. You spend a lot of time in each other's pockets, and I think that's a real strength for the Brumbies because, time together, you just create those connections and you just, form those bonds that are, I guess it makes it harder at the Reds and the Tars and other states where it's just, the distance to travel and that sort of stuff just makes it tough. But, the Brumbies is a good club and one I've enjoyed immensely.
So this, mate, Big Fat Darth here, mate. To try and get yourself to 200 games, have you thought of maybe a couple more years, but just seagulling out in the wing as a winger? No contacts, no passing. Living the dream.
I can safely say I will never get close to 200 games in my life.
Worth a shot.
I was lucky enough to get 150, mate.
There we go.
Hey, Slipper, friends here. Hey, you and Homer have been my favourite props for a long time, but probably need to get some tips of Homer how to create a bit of more longevity in your career. How many? He'd be up there, buddy, with a fair few. Nearly 200. Anyway, back to my question. Mate, for all the armchair critics out there who are saying, Nella's been dicking everyone's scrums, how actually hard is it to scrummage against him, especially after he's getting older and more wiser in the scrums? How hard is he to bloody stop?
Yeah, it is a challenge. I won't lie. Any bloke who can squat 300 kilos, who's 145, looks like he's eating a sheep. It's going to be a tough night in the office. I'll never forget, me and Greg Holmes, this would have been years ago at the Reds, and it was probably the first time we saw Nella. He walks into the club at 18, and me and Hosey, we were squatting at the time about 200 kilos, and it took us about 20 minutes to build up to 200 kilos or whatever it was. And Nella walks in, fresh faced, and he was pretty scared, and he asked us if he could join in. And Holmes like, "Oh right, we'll see what this young bloke's got," And then I think me and Hosey were punching out like 2s or 3s, and Nella gets on without a warm up. Just start squatting it for 10 reps like it's nothing. Hosey looks at me and goes, I'm just so lucky I'm at the end of my career. And, mate, the funny thing is Hosey's still running around.
I was going to say.
I know, mate.
He's nearly 40.
That's the thing. Like a lot of people because that's pretty much a Wallabies front row, but, mate, he's just so strong. And it's like, how do you stop that? I think they were a man down too, and he's just like, he's just too powerful.
He's just too massive. That's the thing. So, Slips, I want to ask you, bit of a serious question, mate. Obviously, you've had your struggles over the last few years. Obviously, what you went through here up in Queensland, you've gone down to the Brumbies, and now to be racking up 150 games. Does obviously the highs you associated with 2011 winning that championship with the Reds, and then obviously what you went through when you exited here at the Reds, and then up again now at the Brumbies. It's been a tumultuous ride, but has it been something that's really helped you off the field, like your game, being able to commit yourself to the game down there in Canberra?
Yeah, that's I guess my career it's been a bit of a journey. There's obviously been plenty of good moments, plenty of highs, and as you mentioned, the 2011 premiership. But yeah, I've had my challenges, mate, and it's well documented what I went through, and I guess, no one's really perfect, and everyone makes mistakes, and I think the key is that you learn from them, and I feel like I've done that, and moving down to Canberra and making sure that I was happy off the field was a major key, and something that I really, really wanted to drive home for myself, just making sure that I was happy off the field, because I over my career, if I'm happy and I enjoy myself, maybe not so much on the training field, but if I enjoy myself and I'm in a good state of mind, I'm going to play my better rugby, and that's something I've always pushed. Later into my career, that if I'm feeling good, I'm going to work hard, especially at training, and then hopefully on Saturdays I get the result I'm after. So to me, it's been a journey, but it's probably one that. Moving to Canberra, it's one I needed to have, a bit of a change in my career, and I couldn't be happier with where I'm at right now, and I'm just enjoying my footy, and for how many years left, I'm really enjoying myself at the time.
Slips, mate, it's great to hear how happy you are and how much you're enjoying yourself. Obviously enjoying Canberra, you're there for another couple of years. Is a move overseas to finish things off, would that be the icing on the cake, or you're not looking that far ahead, you're just going to try and get through the next couple?
I've always wanted to go overseas and experience it. I've got a lot of my old mates, especially ones I've played with at the Reds, who are over there at the moment, and they've just loved it. So I've always kind of thought in my head that I wanted to be a player who went overseas, but probably I wanted to give everything I could to Australian rugby before I did go overseas, and I kind of want to experience that full time overseas and not try and come back and play for Australia. So, I guess the big driver for me was obviously winning a Bledisloe. Still a massive one for me is getting my hands on that trophy as quickly as I can, because it's been a rough ride with that one. But yeah, for me, there's definitely an eagerness to get over there and definitely experience where I guess where the game can take you as well. So I've got next year at the Brumbies, and after that, who knows? But it's probably most likely going to be overseas.
And just on the back of that, Slips, you've obviously had a massive career here, and you've got plenty of rugby left ahead of you. But do you look beyond rugby? Is there something that you kind of have highlighted that you want to work on outside of rugby, or anything like that at the moment?
Yeah, that's another good question. I've just like most other rugby players, I've been doing university for 12 years. Straight out of school, I was doing engineering at QUT. That lasted about 6 months. So I made the Wallabies quite early in my career, and I distinctly remember being in France on a spring tour, and the QT called me up and they're like, where have you been? And this is before kind of online learning and all that sort of stuff. And I was just in Paris, and I was like, oh yeah, look, I don't think uni's going to cut it for me at the moment. So I ended up pushing out of getting pushed out of engineering at QT, and did a bit of architecture, and now for the last 10 years I've been doing a business degree, so I'm nearly finished. But I guess life after rugby is a pretty important thing, for most players, and I'm still coming to terms with kind of where I want to go with that. I'm kind of in the stage where I'm just trying to learn as much as I can in all industries. I've got 2 brothers who are chippies and by trade, so I could go down that route, or who knows. I'm kind of open for any opportunity.
Yeah, you don't need that stress, man. No way. You can come labouring with me.
I'll be a brickie.
A lot of the
Bricky.
Yeah, man. With a goatee like that. Yeah, man.
Breaks and the traveller pies, mate. They're so good.
Battlers, anything? Nah.
Well done, mate. Congratulations on your career. I already stuffed up my question before, mate. Now I'm all nervous.
Did you cop a boot to the top of your noggin there?
Yeah, I did actually.
You can hardly notice.
The other night.
There it is. There it is.
Jesus.
I love it. I love that.
How's the nose?
He's so clumsy with his feet. We actually good story with me and Darcy. We have a bet each game because of course they use GPS on us every game now. Whoever gets the fastest speed buys the other person a 6-pack.
The top speed.
So far,
on the warm-up, you're
so
just sprinting a bit.
I'm winning.
You're winning, Slips.
I love it.
Yeah, mate, Darcy's got to be one of the slowest in the team. So.
Something with a name.
That's so good.
Brilliant.
Well, Slips, obviously you've had an amazing career. I mean, it's something that we are all in absolute awe of, and you had your 150th game on the weekend just gone. Explain to us and run us through how it felt, obviously in different colours, being in the Brumbies colours, but running out on Suncorp Stadium against the Fijian and Drua, a new side in Super Rugby. It had to have been a bit of a surreal experience, surely.
Yeah, it was a great experience. I guess playing in front of my family and friends was really special. It was great to see the crowd turn out for me.
Oh, man.
I was just about to say that.
Yeah, that's on our run sheet.
It was good fun. It was actually, because it was a pretty wet game, I was kind of expecting a bit of a scrap, especially in the set piece, but there was a fair bit of ball movement and some tries scored. So it was actually a pretty fun game to play in. But playing at Suncorp's always been a favourite of mine. It's one of the best stadiums in the world, and in particular for rugby. So yeah, it was a special night. It was a special week, and one I won't remember. I will remember.
You said it all. Love it.
Yeah, no, clearly very memorable. Oh yeah, well done. Are you sure that boot to the head wasn't more than anything else?
Mate.
Jesus Christ,
Blue
mate.
card.
Mate. You might want to have to sit the next couple games out from the sounds of it. But Slips, honestly, thanks so much for joining us, mate. It's been absolutely awesome to watch your career, as we said, all the way from you know, when you were just coming off the bench in that TARS game to 150 Super Rugby matches. It's been an absolute pleasure, and thanks so much for joining us, brother, and all the best.
Nah, thanks for having me, guys.
Awesome.
Appreciate it.
Cheers,
Thanks,
Slips.
Thanks,
Have a
Lippy.
good one, brother.
Thanks, mate.
Round of applause.
Yeah.